remember, shout out to my Patreon. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year because y'all have definitely been riding with me.
If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/bstokestyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos. All right, we're going to be getting started here very shortly. Please make sure that you like the video as you come in and share, because sharing is what? Caring. Don't forget to order your custom B Stokes styling merch. That's right, we have merch. Just click the link down below in the description box and order your B Stokes styling merch today. One minute, you guys. 1 minute, I can't get ready. I can't wait to get started talking about tonight's episode. If you're in the building, go ahead and drop down in the chat and answer that poll question. The poll question for tonight is, did Candice learn anything from last season? Y'all let me know. That's the burning question for me. Hey, welcome back to my channel, and today is going to be our Real Housewives of Potomac review. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode. Before we do, if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for joining as well. You join me live, okay, because live is always fun. If you are here live, please do not forget to answer the poll question in the chat. We are going to be I want to see what y'all have to say about tonight's episode, okay? Also, please remember that sharing is caring. So please share this video out if you would care. Thanks. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode. The episode starts off where the last one ended. We are in the midst of the showdown between Big Mouth and Big Feet, okay? Candice and Mia going at it. And, excuse me, so Mia done came back. She done threw the salad. Candice done threw the salad back. Mia and G walk off for a second to try to collect themselves. It seemed like everybody was kind of gathering around Candice. By everybody, I mean Karen and what's the other girl name with the big old hair, y'all? Ashley. They were trying to talk to her and say, don't bring up Mia's mom and this and that. And one thing that I didn't notice last week, but I did see this week when Candice said something about, well, your mama, and now go cry about it in your room. Ashley was like, you don't even know her mom. So then, this is before Mia actually threw the salad. So then Ashley and Candice were about to get into it because Candice was like, you don't know her mom either. Ashley was like, but I've spent more time with her. So I can't remember who it was. Somebody pointed it out last week, and I was like, that's true. Ashley, you didn't know anything about Mia's mom's history either. So let's not sit up here and act like you did, okay? So now Candice is upset. Like I said, they separated everybody. Some kind of way Mia ended up coming back in there. They continue to argue. Mia wanted to be clear as to why the situation, why Candice saying something about her mom was so hurtful. It's because of her mom's history. She's a recovering addict. Candice does not care. Candice says you can't just be out here saying any and everything to everybody and think that no one's going to say anything back to you. In the midst of that, things were still being kind of thrown and tossed and touched. Mia broke a plate. Candice threw some of the decorations around the table. Next thing you know, Candice is over here crying. Mia's in the back. It's a whole thing. The men were outside like, oh my God, what is going on? I just wanted to play some pool. So they seen that once the men saw that food and stuff was getting thrown, they was like, let's just completely disengage and go play pool. Then they end up getting Chris to come get his wife because he's the only one that can calm Candice down. Mia and G are talking about they gonna leave. So now Wendy's going to get Eddie to try to talk them into staying. G drunk, but like, yeah, where's the car keys? Let's go. G, you don't need to be driving, not near it, not nowhere. Okay, where you finna go, sir? It was chaotic. It was chaotic to say the least. Once they pulled Mia into the room, she went on to talk about how her mother struggles every day with her addiction. And so she doesn't want Candice's comments to reflect on her and to possibly cause her to relapse. And I said this last week in my review, and I'm going to say this again. If you are worried about your mom's sobriety, the last place that you should have brought her is on this reality TV show. Because even if Candice wasn't the one that was going to say something smart, the viewers, the trolls would say something smart about your mom. You know what I'm saying? So if it were that big of an issue, then you should have never even brought that storyline onto the show. And it's not fair to sit up here and try to blame Candice if your mom were to relapse. That's not on Candice. That's not on you. That's not the viewers. That's on your mom. That's your mom's struggle. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't believe Candice is right for what she's saying, but at the end of the day, Mia, like, you're running out. You can't sit up here and say, well, if my mom relapses, then Candice is going to have to meet me out. No. You should have never exposed any of that on the camera. That's how I feel about it. Y'all tell me what you think down below in the comment section. So then they talk about, Mia says, well, I was saying low budget because it was low budget. When you first starting off doing any kind of business, it's low. It is low budget. You're trying to save all of your coins. And so I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get off that screen. She said it is low budget. And so then she ends up going and talking about, I started off low budget, but now I make $450,000. And Escala, she was like, well, I'm sorry, Escala, for, saying the number. And Escala was like, how about we just not talk about business for the rest of this trip? Because why is it that you always want to bring up how much you make? Is it because you're insecure about how much you make? She's like, no, it's because I'm proud. And here's the thing about that, Mia. You can be proud of where you come from. And that is something to be proud of. You came from a very broken childhood and home to being an entrepreneur. And that's great. However, you don't have to throw that up in people's face every time you you speak to them, or everything does not have to go back to that. And so it seems as though you're saying this in order to boost your head up, to make yourself feel better about where you are, because you probably don't actually feel like you deserve to be there on the inside. At least that's how it comes off. Y'all tell me what you think. Meanwhile, while the ladies and all the ladies were in here talking to Mia as she cried and talked and things, and Candice is outside with Chris. And I know a lot of people on these YouTube streets don't really see it for Chris. I understand. But I like Chris, and I do like how Chris handles Candice. For the most part. First of all, this entire episode, Chris was exhausted with her. Okay? Chris was absolutely exhausted with Candice. He was sick of her antics, because if we're going to be truthful about it, and I know people are being very divisive over on the internet streets, and it's Team Me, it's Team Candice, or whatever, but at the end of the day, the blow-ups on this trip were all centered around Candice. And so Chris is the one, he's not just, her life partner, her business manager. He has to manage these tantrums that she has. So after she's all been in the kitchen, done through, Chris came and took her out. She tried to downplay it. She was like, well, I threw 2 pieces of lettuce at her, and then she just grabbed a whole handful and threw it at me. Well, Candice, you just admitted that you, and Chris was even saying it, you just admitted that you started the food fight. So ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you for starting the food fight. You should have kept the pieces of lettuce to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, you should have kept the piece of lettuce to yourself. So he takes her outside, and Candice says she's tired of Mia saying whatever she wants to say, and she's coming to this group saying any and everything to everybody, and she's not gonna continue to get away with saying any and everything, and she's not gonna say any and everything to me. Okay. So Chris is like, how about you stop being childish and you be the bigger person? Because if you're saying that, he says that the way that she's reacting to Mia's comment about being low budget, it seems like she has an insecurity. He was like, do you know, are you low budget? She was like, no, I'm not low budget. He was like, are we doing okay? She was like, yeah. He was like, so then why does it bother you so much? And I completely understand that. It's like, that comment clearly triggered her to a point to why she has to be so vicious in this argument. Like, it's extreme. It's not just fun shade. It's not just shading. It's viciousness. And I think that is what is turning people off and making it hard for people to side with Candice. Because before I watched this episode, I went back and I watched last week's episode. I was watching the lead in, and Mia was being slick with the mouth. Mia was. She was saying little slick stuff, trying to provoke Candice a little bit as well. However, in my Stewie voice, however, the way that it escalated, it would not have escalated to that point if not for Candice. You get what I'm saying? And so it does seem like she's insecure about where she is financially. And then I'm sure she has some insecurity because her finances have been a point of discussion the entire time she's been on the show. I mean, every time anybody got anything to say, they talk about how Mama Dorothy is the one financing her. And so Chris was just like, at the end of the day, I want you to be the bigger person. I want you to squash it. We supposed to be GVO, good vibes only. This is what I want you to say when you get in there. I ain't finna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. He was like, you're not even letting me talk. Listen, just go in there and say, I ain't gonna come for you. You don't come for me. We're gonna keep it pushing. I don't know if I'm gonna say that. I don't know. And it does come off really childish. And this is not Candice's first time coming off very childish, very little girlish. Okay. So the ruckus has died down. I guess they've decided, G and me have decided that they gonna go ahead and stay. G say that can't nobody run them up out the house. But G is drunk as a skunk. You hear me? G is lit like shit. Okay. And he's standing in the hallway. So it's him and Mia, and then Karen standing over there. And then G start flirting with Karen, talking about some, you look good, girl. And licking his lips. Karen done told us 15 times this episode, honey, she's celebrating 25 years with Ray. And she don't need none of this extraness. She's here. She loves her husband. Okay, Karen, we know you and Ray are on the same page. Hold on. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Chanel Demi, thank you. Welcome for coming. Thank you for coming and welcome. Candice came in last episode with the slick comments. Mia seemed like she was going to let it go. Candice shaded her as soon as she got there. So this is on Candice for me. I don't agree. I thought Candice came in last episode pretty in a good, like she made a shady comment in her confessional, but when she walked into the house, I didn't, what did she say that was shady? What did she say that was directly directed to Mia? The only thing that she said when she first walked in was they talked about GVO, and she was like, well, if you're not gonna be on that, then you can GTFO. I thought that was funny. I didn't think that was shady. But then, well, then again, now that I think about it, because then G started getting a little bit tipsy, and then she started throwing a few little slick things in there. Candice's mouth is reckless. It is what it is. Okay, so where we at? We talking about G over here being drunk. So then they start talking about Mia brought up how Candice talked about how G found her in the strip club. By this time, Ashley's come over there. And G was like, I found you in the strip club. Well, I mean, yeah, when I found you, you were a waitress, but then you became an entertainer. And Mia goes on to talk about how he used to come into the club. He used to come into the club and talk to her for 2 hours for 10 grand. Ashley makes a comment in her confession to some, that's some expensive time there to just be talking. I mean, that is some expensive time, but she said she was high end. Okay. She wasn't at Magic City, honey. Okay. She was high end. All right, Mia. If you like it, I love it. No shade, whatever. So then we go and we see a scene with Chris in there cleaning up, because Chris honestly is embarrassed by his wife and he feels bad about her. He feels bad about her behavior. I think Chris is embarrassed by Candice's behavior. And so he decides to go in and clean up the mess that has been made. Ashley kind of walks in and says, oh, well, that was nice of him, which it was, because, I mean, the people who threw it need to be the ones in there cleaning stuff up. You got broken glass and leaves all over the place, but, okay. And so then I think, too, because Chris just wants to have a decent weekend, he tries to say something nice to Ashley. Even though him and Michael are not on the best pages, he said, Ashley, I still follow you. I see that you're doing well on your mommy journey. You look great as a mother. And despite whatever you and my wife are going through, I just wanted to tell you that, which was very, very nice. This is why I say I actually do like Chris. I think that he gets a bad rap because you get lumped in with your spouse. But I did like Chris. I thought that was really admirable of him to just try to kind of break some of the tension. Ashley did try to, I feel like she tried to say something in regards to Candice, but Chris just kept it kind of cute and kept it pushing. So I was here for that. And then everybody goes and finds their rooms. So while they're finding their rooms, everybody ends up kind of into Ashley's room. And they were talking about how it's just getting wild. They did not come on this trip to be fussing and fighting. Karen says she can toss her salad at home. Karen didn't know what that meant. They had to explain to Karen what that meant. That tickled me so bad. Karen was like, huh? What does that mean? Oh my god. Well, Karen, now I ain't trying to get in your business. But in 25 years, there shouldn't have been too many things y'all haven't done at this point. I mean, it might be a little late in the game now, but maybe in year 8, that could have been something y'all would have done. Maybe you just didn't know that was what it was called. I thought that was funny. We get a flash of Mia in the room calling her mom. G is over there passed out because, like I said, he's drunk as a skunk. Then once everybody leaves Ashley's room, we see her calling Michael. He does not answer. Michael don't want to be on this show. Michael don't want to be in this marriage. Michael don't want to be nowhere around none of this, if you ask me. Where is Michael Darby? Michael is turning into Juan and Juan and Jamal for me. Michael is living in the phone, and at this point, he ain't even living in the phone because he ain't even picking the phone up. Okay. All right. So then we get Gizelle and Robin showing up. All right. Let's talk about it, you guys. How do y'all feel about Gizelle and Robin showing up? Y'all tell me. Y'all are new here. I haven't seen these names in my chat before. I always welcome new people. How do y'all feel about Gizelle and Robin showing up and then showing up together, basically, after making all of this hoopla and to-do about how they were not going to come onto this trip? I feel like ain't nobody finna give up this doggone check. Okay? We knew y'all was gonna show up. That you ain't said nothing but a word. We knew what it was. So they show up. They, of course, don't get a chance to pick their rooms because nobody thought that they were coming. So they end up in a room that has 2 beds. Robin is already coming in with an attitude because she's on her period. So she don't want to be around nobody. And she don't like nobody. And you already don't like the host of the trip. And you don't really see it for none of these girls except for your girlfriend who you sleeping in the room with. So why did you come? Gizelle feels a way that she's in this room that doesn't have a bathroom. Mind you, just 2 episodes ago, you didn't even want the girls to come into your house, come into your construction site to use your restroom, but you feel a way that you're in this room that doesn't have a bathroom. What do you want Wendy to do? Do you want her to call your contractors and build a bathroom for you today? Is that what you want? You said you weren't coming. When you get here late. So you get whatever room is left. It is what it is. I don't understand why you're complaining. If you didn't want to be here, then don't show up. And that's for both Gizelle and Robin. But okay. They show up. Ashley said that she really needed them there because that's the only way that they can be a throuple. You know, the three women whose men are either non-existent or not really in their relationships. So they need to be together so that they can be a throuple, honey. Ashley has already called them and given them the kind of rundown of what has happened so far on the trip. And so Candice ends up coming in the room. She greets them. She's happy to see them. And they say, oh, well, we done already heard about the salads being tossed. So, what's going on? And then Candice gives her side of the story, but something that had pissed me off was Candice gonna say, yeah, well, she was talking about my mother, right? So Gizelle goes, and y'all know, don't make me be on Gizelle's side, but I was on Gizelle's side. Giselle goes, there's a difference between talking to your mother and talking about your mother. You were talking about her mother. Like, she was like, what? When I said low budget, it was like an equal thing. It was like, she said my video shoot was low budget. I called her mom low. It was like an equal thing. And I feel like at that moment, she was not trying to dig at Mia's mama because she did not know. At that moment, it was just an off the top type of thing. I do believe that. In this house, you were saying it to be mean. And so when the GBs said, well, Mia was in the room crying about that comment that you made about her mom, and Candice is going to sit there and go, what? She was crying. First of all, she looked just like Dorothy. What? She was crying. Don't act like you care that Mia went in her room and cried. You said your mama. Now go in your room and cry about it. That's what you wanted. That's why you kept saying it in this house, because you knew it was a soft spot for her. Even before she told you that her mom was an addict, you might not have known the full backstory about her mom being a recovering addict. That may have been true, but by the time you got in the house and Wendy brought to you that clearly was a trigger for her, you knew it was a trigger for her, so you continued to push that button. And so don't sit up here in this room with the green-eyed bandits and act oblivious like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was that deep for her. I had no idea. You had no idea at the construction site. No, you didn't. Here you did. And this is what makes it wrong. This is why you're wrong. And the green-eyed bandits were not here for her and how she showed up in that way. So then the host comes. Who's the host? Wendy. The host comes in and she says, oh, I'm glad y'all made it. And she tries to be nice. She says, welcome to everyone. You know, I'm glad that y'all made it here. You know, Gizelle sitting up there with her foot propped up. That's when they ask about the bathrooms. Like I said, if you wanted a better pick up at a room, maybe you should have been here on time. I don't know. Or just like you didn't want me to come into your house, it is what it is. Figure it out. What do you want her to do? Well, host, where do you want us to use the bathroom? I don't know. If there are 7 bedrooms in this house, I'm sure there are at least 5 bathrooms. Go pick one. I'm not going to tell you where to wipe your butt. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Ashley comes in, tries to break things up. She brings welcome shots and volunteers to let them use her bathroom, because they are going to be a throuple anyway. So why not? Mia comes in, greets them. They all say, let's get ready to go to dinner. Before they go to dinner, Robin has already made up in her mind that she's going to go find her a place to stay, a hotel to stay, because she don't want to be there. Honey, you should have stayed your till at home. Okay? That's what it is. You should have stayed your till at home. Emma Crawford, thank you for joining, says Candice's mouth is very reckless and very disrespectful. Candice needs to grow up. That part. Candice want everyone to uphold her in the wrong. I see no lies being told. Y'all are very split over here on this poll. I'm loving to see it. Write down. So the poll, just in case you're just joining, if you're coming in, please don't forget to answer the poll. My question was, did Candice learn anything from last season? I'll give y'all my opinion at the end of this review. All right. So then we get to going to dinner. It's gonna be a nice seafood dinner. Everybody's on the bus, and there's a little bit of inappropriate conversation. That's all I put in my notes. Inappropriate conversation on the bus. We're talking about how oysters look like badges. We're talking about tossing salads. We're talking about teabagging. I don't know how we got here, why we got here, but I think the liquor contributed to it. One thing that was interesting to see, though, in this scene was Gizelle and Karen actually sitting side by side, kikiing. When their frenemy-ship is good, it is nice and refreshing to see them together. Will it last into next season? No. It probably won't even last until the reunion. As y'all know, they just shot the reunion. Friday was it? Thursday or Friday? Nicki Minaj is going to be assisting and hosting. She's gonna have a little segment of her own, and I completely doubt that Gizelle and Candice are going to that Gizelle and Karen are going to still be on a good foot by the time this happens. All right, so we get to the dinner. All right, everybody's sitting there. GVO. There were so many acronyms going around on the screen this episode. We had GVO, we had LD, something about long dick, something PDA. It was so many acronyms flying around. It was funny. I love how they kind of add that. One thing about Real Housewives of Potomac this season is the editing has definitely been adding to the experience of the show, making it kind of funny. Okay, so they're at the table, be trying to, GBO, good vibes. We got a little table of let Ashley tell it, good looking white men. That's what Ashley said. There was a table of good-looking white men sitting behind them. So Ashley's like, Gizelle, maybe I can hook you up. YOLO, we on vacation. Gizelle and Ashley don't have the same type. Let's just say that. And they end up, the table of guys end up sending around the shots over to their table. And it was funny because the guys were sitting over here, but their wives were sitting at the table on the other side. They ain't even sending no shots over to their wives. I just thought that was really kind of cute and funny. Wendy ended up sending some shots over there to the wives. She said, let them get whatever they want. Everybody in the restaurant's kind of laughing and joking a little bit. Karen done walked over there talking about some, well, hi, I'm Karen, and yes, I'm going to be married to Ray for 25 years. Karen, they don't know who Ray is. Don't nobody know the Black Bill Gates but you and us that watch Potomac, okay? And she gonna say, well, y'all need to send something over to y'all wives. Y'all need to get them a YSL purse or something, because that's how you make it to 25 years, honey. Okay, Karen. Okay, school them. Okay, I thought that was just too funny. And then I also found it interesting that this group, it's not like it was just the ladies, it was the ladies and their men, and y'all sending shots over to the whole table. Y'all just trying to party. I love it. That was really funny and cute to me. Let me see what y'all are saying in this chat. Hold on. Hi, VP Doll 1117. Don't understand why people think Candice is not supposed to respond to people when they bother her first. Who said that? My first question is, who said that? My second question is, who bothered? Like, I think that, and it's not about response. Let's say that too. I felt like Mia was completely out of pocket. I felt like Mia was completely out of pocket in talking to Mama Dorothy. So I have no issue with Candice addressing Mia about being out of pocket and talking to Mama Dorothy. I think where, I can't speak for other people, but I can speak for me. I think where my issue comes in when it comes to Candice is the level of vitriol she gives a situation. The way that she can low blow a situation. That is what makes it just like, it makes it disgusting to me. It's not her response. It's like, okay, respond, that's cool, but everything don't have to be dirty like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, her mouth is vile. It's like, it's not fun shade. It's not, oh, well, let me just, I'm gonna say, it's like she is intentionally trying to cut you to the white meat. And so I think for me, that is what aggravates me about Candice, because not every time is that type of response warranted. Do I feel like Mia was out of pocket? Yes. I also feel like Gizelle was out of pocket at that photo, at that video shoot. And Robin was out of pocket too. Why am I so blurry, y'all? I'm sorry. My camera. Let me wipe my thing off. I think the Green Eyed Bandits were out of pocket too. But she didn't give any of that to them. She didn't give any of that to them. And she just got really vile with Mia. So I that's my issue with it. It's not her responding. It's just like, dang though, like, you got to cut like that. Emma says Candice don't learn her lesson at all. VP Doll, Ashley bothered her tonight. Mia started, the ladies on the show, and some viewers. Ashley started. We're gonna get to her and Ashley's conversation in a minute, because I don't see it for Ashley either. Like I said, I gave my opinion on Mia. She doesn't, as far as the rest of the ladies on the show, excuse me, she does not hold the GEBs in any way accountable like I think that she should. And as far as viewership goes, I don't like that. Another thing I don't like is that once it's all said and done, Candice likes to play the victim. I think it's aggravating that you can be so vile, but it's everybody against me. I'm the victim. Woe is me. You get what I'm saying? I don't dislike Candice. When Candice came on the show, I really did like her. I really, really did. It's just she does not know how to navigate the difference between defending yourself in a reality TV way and being vile, venomous, low vibrational. I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to, and then playing victim. Emma says Mia's not innocent, but Candice's mouth is very disrespectful. And I think that's the thing that people, it's like Team Mia, Team Candice. No. Two people can be wrong at the same time. Just like two things can be right at the same time, two things can be wrong at the same time. Both Mia and Candice were wrong. Both Mia and Candice were wrong. That's just, that's my opinion on it. Both of them are wrong. I said it, what are we on, episode 13? I believe I said it about 7 reviews ago. I think I'm pretty sure if y'all go back on I gotta play this. If you go back on one of my videos, probably about episode 5, the jury was out. I brought Judge Lynn in and said, my jury is in. I don't see it from Mia. This is exactly what I did. So I'm not on Mia's team either. She done got on my nerves too. And I just okay. It's just gotten so blown up. So anyway, so they're at the table. And this is where the dinner goes left. Okay. I don't know. This is where the dinner goes left. Ashley asked Chris, or did Chris start it? Who started it? Ashley or Chris? I don't remember. At the end of the day, I got it in my notes. Ashley asked Chris about Candice's behavior. Okay. So I guess Ashley was the one that started it. Ashley asked Chris about Candice's behavior because, like I told y'all at the beginning of this review, I believe that Chris is straight embarrassed by Candice. I really do. And Ashley says, Chris, how do you feel about when Candice gets into it with everybody? And Chris says that, he just doesn't want it to be contentious with all of them, especially with the husbands in the group, because the husbands tend to have a decent camaraderie. And so when the women get into it, it kind of throws the balance of everything off. And he says that, he does, even though him and Michael have not necessarily always seen it for each other, seen it eye to eye, he ain't got no problem with Ashley. And Ashley said, well, you talk crazy about Michael. And Chris says, well, Michael says some crazy stuff about me, but I have never talked crazy about Michael. So then they started showing you, because Bravo gonna show that beautiful bean footage, honey. Bravo gonna roll the tapes. If they don't do nothing else, they're gonna roll the tapes. And when we see the tapes being rolled, Chris said that Michael has said some disrespectful things to the women in the cast. That's what Chris said. Michael, on the other hand, has gone in, talked about Chris's businesses, talked about him being, like trash. Like, Michael has gone in on Chris. Michael has actually said some nasty things about a lot of people on this cast. I think this is why Michael is choosing to stay the heck away this season. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. But Ashley began to bring this up. Now, why are we bringing this up? I do not know. We were having a somewhat decent dinner. Even though Candice and Mia had their little scuffle, we weren't rehashing that. So why Ashley felt the need to bring this up, I understand that Wendy said, shots to forgiveness. Let's just take the shot and shit. Good. Like, let's just do that. So then when like I said, when Chris goes to talk about how he ain't saying nothing crazy about Michael, now Candice steps in to defend her husband, and Candice and Ashley end up getting into it. And Ashley says, Candice says, well, your husband has called my husband white trash. And Ashley says, well, you called my husband a slave master. And then there go Bravo with the beautiful bean footage showing that Candice did in fact tweet that Michael was an overseer. And so then Candice doubled down in it and says, well, he oversees his slaves. So now Ashley's like, so what are you calling me a slave? And it's just interesting to me that this is the dialogue between the two women that are married to two white men. And That was is that interesting to anybody else, or is it just interesting to me? I feel like the conversation talking about being white trash and being overseers and all of that kind of stuff, again, that is such, those are just so low blows. And I just find it interesting that the white people on the cast are the ones involved in it, or should I say their spouses. And all I wrote in that, so while all of that's going on, Chris tries to calm down Candice because once again, he's trying to be the manager managing his wife's temperament. Things are beginning to get loud. We're in this restaurant. Everybody is like, oh my gosh, no. Then Candice brings up last season and how, Candice brings up last season and how Ashley, she said something like Ashley was the root of that or the cause of that. She said something like that. And that's when Gizelle pipes up and says, no, Ashley was not the cause of that. Then she brings up how, well, Ashley did contribute to it because she wrote a statement. She made it legal. She went in on there on the behalf of the legalities of it all. And at this point, Chris just gets up and walks away because he's fed up. Y'all, it was just a show. They were making a whole spectacle in this restaurant. A whole spectacle. And I put in my notes, Candice is exhausting. I was exhausted because Chris is sitting here trying to de-escalate the situation as best he can. He's just like, how about we just walk away? And she refuses to get up from the table. She refused. And here's his like, let me read y'all's comments. Emma says the only body Candice went after was Mia. Candice always plays like she is a victim when she is not a victim. VP Doll says the tweet from Candice was in response to Ashley's tweet, but for